I will start. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call to order the Historic Preservation Commission. It is 5:37. And if I can, it just kind of confirm for the public that we've agreed that I'm going to take and serve as your temporary chair and temporary secretary until we get down to electing your chair. Is that right? All right. So for roll call, Mr. Baker. Here. Ms. Cavalier.
Here.
Ms. DeMayo.
Here.
Mr. Falcone and Ms. McCall are unable to be here at this point. The township manager's here. If we can, we'll have a moment of silence and then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Can I get a motion to approve your agenda for this evening?
I'll motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Any further comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Can I get a nomination for your chair? Can I get a nomination for your chair?
For a new chair,
Yes.
I nominate William Baker.
Is there a second?
I second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, all in favor of William Baker being your chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 3-0. Bill, I will turn the meeting over to you.
All right. Thank you for that. So let's see, so I'm a rookie at this. So let me see, I think the next thing would be the vice chair.
Yes.
Do I have any recommendations for vice chair?
Nominate Frank.
Right?
Continue, yeah.
I'll
Okay.
second Frank.
What happens when you're not here?
That's right. So, I mean, although he's not here, right?
Still okay.
He's here in spirit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was,
Just talk
okay.
to him.
So,
News.
motion to approve. For second,
I seconded and all in favor?
All in
favor?
Aye.
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 All right. I think there's only one person. Be the Tiffany, are you being secretary? Okay. Motion for Tiffany to be secretary.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. And I take it from the screen, we don't have any public attending?
So we only take public comment now if somebody's in the audience. We
Oh,
don't
okay.
take public comment from people attending at home. They don't have an ability to typically log in. So that you would do it that way. Since there's
Okay.
nobody here, there would be no public
Right.
comment.
Okay. All right. Consider the moving, okay, the minutes from the December 9th meeting or?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, approved. All right, so we're down to new business, number 10 there. 10.1, discussion and confirmation procedures for alterations, additions, and demolition guidelines in historic ordinance include all township nationally registered properties as well.
So we just need to confirm that all class, it's basically class 1 and class 2,
right? Okay.
because they are class 1, no matter the owners. There's no, nothing in our ordinance that would supersede that or say otherwise. And whatever those guidelines are that are followed for all the owners of class 1 or class 2 alterations, or whatever they do now at this point, if it's something major that requires a permit, that it would just be discussed the same way and brought, and I'm not sure who would be the person to bring that up, but
I'm not sure I wasn't really sure what we were trying to get at here, so I guess that's,
We're looking for an amendment to the ordinance.
yeah, the
or
ordinance
just
would already cover that, just to clarification that it does indeed also pertain to township-owned properties. It does to the octagonal school, and it does to St. David's.
I
They're
don't,
now in the national, they're class 1 in our ordinance.
right.
So were they to come, say the octagonal school wanted to do something that required a permit or something to that, Dunwoody would have to.
Yeah, if it's something to the exterior, right? Yeah.
This is nothing, no. We're
So,
not going in the inside, yeah.
yeah, no, I think
That's,
that,
we just want to clarify that it would always be discussed.
yes,
okay.
my understanding, yeah, we're not exempt from our ordinance, if that's what you're asking.
Right, okay,
I don't think there's anything in the ordinance that exempts us.
I looked.
Okay,
All right, that was it, just to get clarification.
Okay.
So we just
You can.
validated this, is there's no motion to. do
No,
it.
there's no motion.
Okay.
Okay, we just valid, because sometimes it's confusing, and I just wanted to get it clear, because I couldn't find anything.
Okay. 10.2, discussion and possible action to vote to approve all applications for ordinance class 2 status, properties that are included in the Delco Historic Resource Survey of 1984. This allows the township to send out notification to owners as soon as applications are filed. Commission will supply the township a copy of the inventory.
Okay, so this has, just to clarify, it's not superseding what they come before and they have the hearing. It just doesn't require, if we go through the book and get all the applications through what's already on the inventory, it doesn't require them coming first here and then back here again. So it's basically saying that 6 applications that we might put in, we can go through this book and they're all,
So we're trying to cut out the process of having to notify to have a
Us.
hearing
no,
here
you-
and then have
we
another.
still have to
hearing.
notify
no,
them.
stays. The hearing
Okay.
is the legal part. What
Okay.
I'm saying is you can grab, you'll have 5 applications, they can go right into the township. The township can send the letter out that there's a hearing. We don't have to discuss it.
Okay.
Again, sometimes we do that first and we don't need to.
I thought we'd already agreed,
We
like.
did, but it was a year or 2 ago and we're still going through and I'm still bringing them up. And I never understood why I was saying, okay, this is
I
the
don't know
book
why you're saying this
first.
either.
And then, yes, I
Yeah.
know. Like,
So you don't need approval
because
from us.
we're doing them. No,
Yeah.
you could, if it was an
If
application.
you were
first-
doing it, but we're trying to get the homeowners to be more proactive now, right?
Yes, we are trying, however, that's gonna follow up on
Okay.
on the rest of them because, as you find out, that is a lengthy process and during the winter especially, I can tell you, people don't, necessarily want you in their home. And we have no way to electronically do it,
Mhm.
which would save also time to have electronic signature.
Hint, hint.
I
nod,
know.
nod.
So the book contains all the approved inventory that was done. And if we vote that we agree that these are all, should I say, they all could file an application, it would be appropriate to do so, because being in this book, they've already met the criteria. They can file the application, then the township can then notify of the hearing here for us. And it
Mhm.
might be the first time you see it. You don't see it ahead of time, is what
Mhm.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
The first time you see it is the night that's on our agenda to be a hearing. And
And-
just like if somebody walked in the door and did it.
And
That
is-
makes
is
sense.
that book dated 1984?
Yes,
Mhm.
it is.
Okay,
And
now I know what the 1984.
Arlene
Okay.
made me these copies, and if we need to, I can provide a copy. Again, I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I think a copy be provided to to the township staff would be helpful.
Yeah, I think so. It's great. I mean, I have,
When we first did this, you sent out a PDF version of that.
can you find it?
Oh.
I have it on my computer. I can send it
Yeah, if
out.
you can send that to us. would
Yeah,
be
that might,
great.
I prefer
Absolutely.
that.
So
than
everybody has a
the
soft
book.
copy?
Yeah.
And they can all, and see, and then all the properties don't always fit that, because as you saw, I think there's been 3 that were not in here. And those I would, if I was filing them.
Right.
But if the homeowner's filing them, they really just drop it off anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'll send
so
it
they're
to-
never, you're not gonna know ahead of time anyway. We decide that. So it's basically, it's just saying, yeah, go ahead with these without having to bring them up in our meeting.
I'm gonna send that to Claudia
Okay.
Please.
and ask Claudia to distribute it to the commission and the township.
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
So we good with 10.2?
I think so, is that what that?
Takes us to 10.3. Yeah, I know this job. All right. Discussion of applications for class 2 resources as written into our ordinance that may be submitted by either homeowner/property owner, supervisors or historic commission. That who submitted the application should not supersede our ordinance, which clearly states they need only meet one or more criteria. I guess that might be those who submitted.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay, close enough. All right.
So is that saying that the,
It kind of goes along with the next one too, that,
I'm not sure what the purpose of this one was. I didn't
I
understand.
know, the purpose, I guess, is to clarify if you have an ordinance, how it's interpreted. Is it open to broad interpretations? I.e., example, there is nothing in our ordinance that states that the homeowner has to agree or the property owner has to agree that the application goes in. It's not in there. It wasn't, and I'm sure there.
No, just the board has said, we want the homeowner to agree if it's
So
coming
it's,
before us.
you're saying that they can say that and supersede an ordinance. So an ordinance.
Well, the Board of Supervisors can say, because you got to remember, the Board of Supervisors is going to determine whether or not they have a hearing on the property, right?
But first, it's the planning commission, and they already say that, and they are a co-commission. They are another
But it
commission.
doesn't even go to the planning commission unless the board approves it, right?
Well, they approved that it's historic. They don't always ask that. So, yeah, that's not always because they'll just,
But the past position of the board has been to accept the planning commission's desire that they be, and I'm saying past because I've got a new board, right? I mean, my board is different than it was last year. I have a new board member. We've replaced a board member. And I don't recall the vote on this particular issue.
I don't think they voted on
I
it.
think they just stated it, you know. So but it goes before the board prior to going to planning because the board determines whether or not they're going to take it up and whether or not it's going to be heard. And they give the authorization to go before planning and then it has to be advertised. So they give the authorization for it to be advertised and to take that step. My understanding has been that the board has wanted the homeowners to be in agreement at this point for the properties that we're going forward on. So the answer to your question is, are they superseding the ordinance? Maybe, but it's the way the ordinance is written, it's their prerogative to determine whether one of these moves forward. And they're just saying that in order to move it forward. Now, they may change that position.
They
And-
did. They voted 2 that the owners objected to. That they voted 2 in. that
But
the
they did
owners-
that
they've
they
set a
did that
precedent
prior.
to Do it.
They did it prior to their changing of where they were.
Oh, well, they never voted on that.
They didn't vote. They just basically said, this is what we want. And so,
Dying fruit. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's what.
so a way of stating this is that
Take the low-lying fruit.
that we're prioritizing homeowner submitted applications.
that's exactly what they're saying.
property owners, let's not call them, because the ones
Property
that
owners.
object
Sure,
are
sure.
general
Yeah, you're right.
property owners, not homeowners.
You're right.
Okay, but that is something that affects the ordinance, because if that is
But they have, as the board, the way the ordinance is written, it clearly gives the board the authority and the right to decide which properties move forward and go before the planning commission. Because the way the ordinance is written, it has to go before them to determine whether or not to advertise. And so if they choose not to move it forward because it's not, the property owner is not in agreement,
how do we know they're not in agreement? We submitted it. How do we know? They didn't come. They didn't show up. We had a hearing.
well, I
it was
think they're
done.
saying, what they've said is we want the property owner to be in agreement.
Some owners are in agreement by default. They don't show up.
But that's not, no,
They don't object. They just don't want to come and be part of this, of the.
but they haven't
process.
said they're in agreement.
So, they are saying that they want a signature of agreement by the owner of every property that we.
I think what they
put
said
up
was, we
there.
want the owner to sign the application, I think is what they said, but I'd have to go back and verify that.
Right, because I was never told, I was alluded to that would be easier. But it was never, that was never said, and also that would mean that the planning commission dictated that.
Well, and it may be, but the board may have taken the planning commission's recommendation that we only look at,
And so we
Properties.
are not ever included in this discussion, is what I'm saying is how does that decision come around without some kind of back and forth discussion on?
well, it's
maybe
the,
there's some grounds.
it is the board of supervisors' right.
So we could discuss that with them.
You can. But it is their right. And my understanding is there was a lot of, I mean, I know when this ordinance was put together, there was a lot of back and forth. And the board picked a very specific way it wanted the ordinance put together, because it wanted a very specific process about how it was done.
But they still voted in the favor of the two.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm
So
saying,
they got to that point is what I mean. It didn't, even though
but they still have the right to make a decision as they go forward.
that's at the end though, not the beginning.
They have a right to make the decision of whether it's advertised and moves forward or not. It is in the board's decision to do that.
Okay. Maybe I'm missing something here, but if an application comes in signed by the property owner,
That's easy.
isn't that sufficient then?
Yes.
But if they don't, or they're not, or it's a company that owns it, or it's in some place somewhere, somebody somewhere else, an LLC somewhere, you can't find them. How do you get those properties on? Without, is what I'm saying is that's not part of our ordinance criteria. A place is either historic or it isn't.
But, so
We're
let's
not
say,
controlling what they do with it.
so the board isn't saying that we can't send to them applications for historic properties, regardless of whether or not the homeowners have signed it.
Correct.
But they can choose whether or not to move
Correct.
it forward to the planning commission, depending upon the information that we submit. So it sounds like, perchance, if we're submitting an application that is not signed by a homeowner, and here is why it is not signed by the homeowner, and here is all the logical reasons why we wouldn't expect it to be,
Mhm.
then perhaps they would move it along. But ultimately, they're
So
the
that's-
linchpin
so that's
on
more of
moving
a-
applications
That's more of a
forward.
discussion
Mhm.
as to, so it doesn't preclude doing it.
Right.
It just requires that there's public discussion on why you would not move it forward.
Right.
I mean, I don't agree with it, but,
I
you
mean-
know, if that's the way it goes. I don't,
I mean, this isn't, I mean, look, I'm not,
it wasn't, when we put this ordinance together, that was discussed, it was never put in there on purpose, and that's why it says,
but it's, but
it
it,
says clearly a supervisor, a historic commission member, or an owner can submit the application.
that's
Which
correct.
can, which
Right.
they
And,
can.
and they're not saying that they can't be submitted. All they're saying is, we don't want to hear anything right now that is not property owner approved
Right now.
right now. Now, that doesn't mean in the future they may not change, but that was their, and like I said, it's a new board. They may have a difference of opinion this year because it's a new board. But, and you can petition the board to find out what their preference is. But what their comment was that they, sorry, hold on a second. Welcome to the world of Apple. Recording everything I'm saying. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. So, but my point is, the board always has the right to make a decision whether it wants to spend money on advertising something and sending it forward. That's their call. And so the ordinance doesn't say that they have to do that. It's always their call. They get to decide. If they decide they don't want to spend the money on advertising at this point, they don't have to do so. Because that's the decision that they're making. It's just whether they want to pay to advertise it and move it forward through the process. And if they feel like the property owner, I think what they're trying to say is we don't want to spend money advertising ones that are going to be contested. We want to just spend money on the ones that we know are going to go through.
And
The
no
lowest-
show is not a contest. It's not appearing, that's contesting, is what you're saying?
No, a no-show is not an approval or a contesting. It's just neither one.
So it can move forward with
If
that.
they've signed, if the property
it-
owner signed it.
No, if they're not showing, they're not signing. They're usually not answering or they're not
I
showing.
mean, but I think the key is it's not an assumption one way or another. Just because the person didn't show doesn't assume they're supporting it or doesn't assume they're not supporting it. They may not choose to do anything until it gets before the board, right?
Correct.
But if it stays, I'll just call it neutral, what you just described, I think. Okay, if it stays in this neutral state, but it doesn't have a signature, it doesn't move.
I can't,
Maybe
I
not.
can tell you,
Last
probably-
year, maybe not.
yeah,
Okay,
Maybe this year,
Supervisor
maybe.
what to say.
I think it's appropriate to have the conversation with the board to understand what they want. And if they say that this is what we want to do, then
Yeah.
that's how I would interpret where they want to go.
So to have okay, let me take that step back. Couple things. Would we, or how would we have that conversation with the?
I would recommend initially having the conversation with Leonard
Mhm.
as the chair and let him kind of feel out the rest of the board and see where we go. I mean,
Okay,
that's how I would approach it.
is that conversation not this committee going forward with, is it,
I,
Kathy talking to Len or something? Is it
I
that
would
kind-
say-
is it off, is it?
Yeah,
Not,
I
not
mean,
a formal conversation?
now that you're the chair of this committee, I could see you reaching out to Leonard and saying, here's where we are. I know where we were last year based on what I've been told, was that you didn't want anything that didn't have a property
Signature.
owner approval on it, basically. Is that still where the board is? And he may say, let me find out, I'll let you know, or he may say, I don't have any reason to believe that that's not. I don't know what he would say, or you can ask me as staff to check out and see what that would be.
Well, okay, I don't want to speak for the, Steve, would you like to check out and see where that would be?
Now, if you're asking me if I would like to, the answer is no, but I will do it.
Would you
Kathy,
like
would
to
you
reach
like,
out
do
to
you want to
Leonard?
push this
Oh,
harder?
sure. I
Okay.
can ask him again. Yes.
okay.
Are you asking or you want me to ask him?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Your name's next to it. It's an
Right.
action item, Kathy.
Yes, I
It's
know,
on
it's an
you.
action.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't preclude us from moving properties.
No, and I usually, you take the easier ones as.
Yeah, if they come in, but we don't want to sit here with,
Low-lying fruit is the easier.
we don't
but
want to sit here doing nothing when we
No,
have
but
properties
it
that we
also
could hear.
But again, it requires me going to their house.
No, I'm
And as you
saying,
can see,
if
to
they
get
don't sign it,
signatures.
no, I'm saying if they don't sign it, we can still,
Oh, you can still submit it and
Yeah.
just, oh, I don't, there aren't a lot of those that would matter. Like if they holler, let them go is my motto with most of them. If they're that objectionable, and going to be difficult, and they'll let you know that right away, but then there's some who just don't answer, don't
Right.
care, so, and that particular, maybe, several properties are in more important
Okay.
locations.
All right.
So, yeah, that's why I said that.
okay. All right.
10.4. Discussion.
Actually goes along with it, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of read ahead here. Discussion of whether after notification
Yeah.
to owner of an application filed by other than the owner of the historic property, and they are not responding at any point during the procedure, that this is considered no objection to the application. I would think you want to include that in your discussion with Tulen.
Sure, if it goes the whole way.
Yeah, what,
Yeah.
because these two are kind of they kind of roll together, I think.
Yeah, because I was also gonna ask, I thought I did. Co-signature, because I can get agreement easier than be there with the person. And that's another thing where I co-sign. I mean, as a nurse, I did that. It was legal. I co-signed / and put their name. So that's another option, which I will discuss with him, because I think I did once before with that. I mean, a preference would be the person doing it, but if I can do it over the phone. I also have an electronic copy of one that I'm gonna send in.
Okay.
Where it's signed, it's scanned, so I can just send it right in that way,
Mhm.
and some of it, but he's younger, not all of them will do that, so.
We good?
And this is all basically to try to make this process,
Oh, of course.
go a little smoother, go a
Yeah.
little faster. It's like 4 years, 20 properties. 5 a year. So it's, the other part of that is that most of them don't know to even apply. So
Yeah.
that's another problem
Right.
that we have.
Okay. Number 11, second page.
Any more?
Well,
Items for the next agenda.
yes. Anybody have any items? on the agenda?
I would like to, on the same idea that Kathy has about how can we get more applications, and if that signature is going to be something that is gonna expedite getting these properties on the resource list. What would be the best way, whether it be like a subcommittee, perhaps, to brainstorm ideas for engaging these homeowners? And I know you've done a lot of work, but I don't want you to have to do all the work.
Now, I
So-
was gonna mention how we originally did this when we were setting up the ordinance. We sent letters, and this was the Historic Society, I think, to all the historic homeowners on our list. And informed them that the ordinance was going to be drafted, and that the properties were going to be, they were on the inventory, and the properties, because at that point, thought that they would be in there. And then we held 3, I think we did a meeting every month, or like January, February, March, or March, April, May, something like that,
Right.
to discuss any concerns or questions. And they did all receive them, because I heard back. That was telling in that they assumed they were getting put into the ordinance, and I had maybe 6 people show up at one time. Couple people emailed me and discussed it, but I don't think they had one objection at that point. And no one wrote me saying, oh, wait a minute, pull me out. The one who did on the phone, I just didn't include. And they just said, that was it, one person, and she had objected years back when they were doing it. So that in itself tells me that when it was done that way, it was a little,
Well,
it
that's-
tells you that most people would have just accepted that their home's historic and they were put in the ordinance. So now we're doing it this way.
Right, so there might be other ways, and so we have,
The mailer works really well.
I like mailers. I like
Mhm.
mailers. I also like, we need to get these people somewhere in person because they need to sign.
So that's. what-
So can we use some of our budget to say, let's have a get together of some form? Hey, homeowners, let's get
Well-
our historic homeowners together for a little meet and greet. And oh, by the way,
Yes.
ordinance application, you
You don't
sign.
even have to do, by
moving
the way,
on.
you can actually put that out as we are going through
Yeah,
the
but
historic
people
homeowners.
People really like to feel special and they really like free food.
They do, but they also like to be included if you're making decisions. And
Well,
you
that's what
need,
I'm
you
saying,
need
yeah.
a catch to make them want to come. And the catch to make them want to come is, oh, are they going to put me in there anyway? Or they just have questions. They have to be
Well, if it were like,
not just,
hey, come join us for a meet and greet with the other historic homeowners. Here's some topics that we want
the
to chat
ordinance,
about.
probably the
But
ordinance.
not like, oh, we're gonna go to a stodgy meeting where we're gonna be sitting there and they're gonna yank on
Right.
us.
No, you don't have to do that, but you
But
can
the-
make it sound like you're going to do something
Yeah,
or.
But we're,
there's
you
a
know, but
Possible action.
these are things we're gonna do, and this is, hey, by the way. So
That's the
it
only
doesn't-
reason- that's the only way I ever got. people to come.
Anyway, that was
No, that's a good idea.
because we need to
But
get
we'll make
them
it
to,
fun.
I was thinking, since we had like at the Paper Mill House and the Tavern, but I'm thinking more the Paper Mill House, invite people there.
That's what we did. We did it at the tavern the first time,
Okay,
not now.
yeah, not now,
But it-
but
but
Paper Mill House,
could
but
it be hosted by the Historic Commission rather than Preservation Commission, rather than the society,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that
no,
it's
the
understood
commission
that.
supports it under the society, in the society's building,
Mhm.
like we had that.
Well, I
The
loan it out.
countywide
Yes,
came
we
from.
loan it out to people, for the day. We help them. We host for them, basically. So.
Yeah.
So if another idea, so we talked last time about being able to submit an application online. The challenge with that is, oh, wait, we can't get a signature online, right?
Mhm.
If that application allowed for a document to be uploaded, AKA a signed
Mhm.
application, like, please attach your signed application here. So they filled out all the information, it's all in the form. And now here's an uploaded image of the application. Would that be something that could be acceptable?
Somebody scans it, signed, and then submits that.
Well, you have a form, you have to fill out all the information that's on the application,
Then you sign it.
but you have the application that you actually have to sign and send in.
I know, but to me, the sending in part is you scan it.
Yeah,
it
the-
now
the
captures
scan
the
it,
signature.
yeah.
And then you submit it that way. It comes in as a PDF and there it is.
I'm not sure how that's any different than when we get submitted a copy, so I think that would be fine.
Yeah, how's it?
Well, because the thing that we had a problem with is if someone goes to the website, to the Historic Preservation Commission site, apply here, and we couldn't have an apply here button because it was lacking that signature. But if the application allowed for an upload of a signed application page, would that be something that we can do?
I'm confused. You mean not a page where they can't electrically sign? So
No,
they
no,
would
no.
already sign it. Let me
But
show you one.
We're talking about the same thing, Kathy. All
I
I'm
know.
saying
I'm
is
gonna show you
they're
how
able
you
to,
did it.
they're able to submit it on the township website. It goes to the township. It doesn't have to be filtered through you first to go into.
Oh,
the
no,
township,
no, that
and
would be
then-
great, but a lot of them aren't savvy. But yes, that would be good.
But they have kids who might be,
That's true.
or grandkids, but just to have another alternative, whether they use it or not is,
I'm gonna show you Aussie's. Although. good point, he's still-
So Tiffany, you're gonna put this in as an item on the next agenda. then? Right.
I'm
Good.
also gonna bring up the town, like the things, township booth idea at the little gathering things.
Okay.
'Cause we did one last year.
Oh,
We need to do more.
Right, this is all my stuff. Mm. Um,
I'm gonna put it on the agenda for next week, so we
Okay,
can just
we can
talk
do
about
it,
it
yeah,
then.
and I
Okay.
can find
Mhm.
it.
And then, will you have reached out to Leonard by then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a couple questions. I have to get his. And it is.
So before you get to your adjournment, I just want to give you a
Mhm.
little
Oh,
bit of
wait.
update on next Thursday night. I think it's the 29th. If my calendar is correct, yes, it's the 29th.
Thursday night, yeah, I think I know the meeting you're talking about.
We're having a meeting here at the township for all committees. All committee members are being invited. It's starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock will be for the chairs and the vice chairs. 6:30 for everybody, and then 7:30 for secretaries. So you've already been doing this, so you probably don't need a whole lot, other than maybe just a refresher, maybe of getting in the system or whatever. But so we're gonna do how to run a meeting basically at the first half hour, so that all the chairs know how to do that and vice chairs know how to do that. The next piece is going through Sunshine Act and right to know request and all of those kind of things that might pertain to you all, and making sure that everybody knows what all the committees do. And then the last section of the meeting is for all the secretaries to learn, if they don't already know, how to make sure that they get minutes done and how to set it up and how to use the system. There'll also be a section for everybody on how to pull down your agenda and get to all the documents in the agenda. So that's next Thursday night. We're inviting everybody to come, but the first 30 minutes, so all the chairs will receive an invite for the first 30 minutes and the next hour. All the secretaries will receive it for both the hour and the 45 minutes after, and everybody will receive it for that 1 hour block. So, okay?
Is it fair to say that based on our structure, our dynamics here, that we are doing things properly?
Yeah.
We're planning on coming to the meeting. I think I went to the last one. We had one last year too.
Yes, I do it every year.
But
For new business,
Huh?
no.
You keep having it when I have Quizzo. It's become very challenging.
I'm sorry. I've only got
Agenda.
limited nights I can have the meeting room.
I know,
Deadline.
Although next week I have
Deadlines.
it literally every night.
Agenda item.
Ugh.
We
I have a
know the
meeting every
process.
night here next.
Oh,
That's crazy. No,
Deadline.
I'll come.
I'll put it for new business,
all right.
What?
unless we can just get clarification and send out the deadlines for the agenda items.
That'll be a part of the meeting on the 29th.
Okay, and then, when they're removed, we just be notified that they're not, when and why they're not being put on the agenda, if items are removed. That was the other thinking,
Yeah,
because I think there was something else on here.
it was related to the heritage tree issue. But it wasn't, the way that we're going forward, there isn't a heritage tree really anymore.
Right, well, that was what now I did get that clarified
Okay,
by Leonard, that if a new ordinance has not been drafted and passed, the old ordinance must be followed. He told me that point blank,
yeah,
before he knew which one.
But there's
before
nothing-
he knew which one I was talking about, probably.
Yeah.
And then I told him which one. So I thought that could get,
no, but the key there, first of all, is that it would go before the shade tree, it doesn't come before here.
no, it wasn't, it was submitted to them, yeah. So didn't that go over to
But the shade tree's no longer meeting.
so the ordinance is no longer,
There's no shade tree committee to carry it out.
okay. The Park and Rec does not take that on, and now they don't take on any of the jobs of the Shade Tree Commission?
Yes, but not that,
Okay,
because that's not been assigned to them.
okay.
You're itching.
Are we good?
Let me just see if there was any other new business.
For next time?
For next time, yes, I am, working with, the county planning to update our historic inventory for the county.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna do a lot of the updated photographs, so we can discuss that further too. That'll be a whole
That's the
new, that'll be a whole
1984
new one.
book.
Well, it'll be a new
Become
one. It's gonna take.
Twenty twenty-six, but yeah, but I know, but at least we'll have something more advanced in
Yes,
nineteen eighty-four.
that's the goal.
All right,
Because things that aren't there anymore, and sometimes that is. So,
so you're working with the committee on that?
yes, because I have a lot of the data.
Right.
And the photos and the history.
Is there something we're gonna
As
discuss
part of
about
the
it?
Historic Society,
Correct.
right, okay.
Are we gonna talk about that next time?
Hmm?
Are we gonna talk about that next time? Is that an agenda item?
Yes, that was going to be it. That's what I can use it for that. agenda. Yeah, because it could entail other people helping as well, because it's a lot of it's photography and
Oh, okay.
data gathering from our from different web pages and sources. Oh. Okay.
Anything else? Kathy, you good?
I think I'm good.
All right.
I'm reading through my little.
Steve, have I got this right? Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Actually, as the chair, you don't have to have a motion. You can just adjourn.
Oh,
Ooh.
I just
So
adjourned.
that's.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Learned something.
Go, Bill.
Bill did it.
I know. Thank you, Bill.
Sure.
Good job. I gave you this too, didn't I?
Yes, I have that
Okay.
too. Do you want me to include that
Yeah.
in my email? Okay.
Yeah.
I make order of documents, so